What's up, everybody? I'm Sam Mewis.
And I'm Lynn Williams, and this is Snacks. We started this podcast to talk about some personal stuff, some soccer stuff, some real stuff, and some fun stuff. All the stuffs. So Sam, take it away. Tell us about yourself. Where are you? What's happening?
I play soccer for the U.S. Women's National Team and for Manchester City. Right now I'm in Manchester, but I grew up in Massachusetts. I'm from a little town called Hanson. I went all the way across the country to go to college at UCLA, and I've been playing professional soccer since then. Some things about me. I have a dog named Finn, who I'm obsessed with. He's a little Cavapoo. I love him. I'm married to my husband, Pat. I have a sister, Christy, who also plays soccer in the NWSL and for the U.S. Women's National Team. I love hanging out with my friends. I love buffalo chicken. I love buffalo chicken pizza. I'm just your typical person from Massachusetts who is playing professional soccer. How about you, Lynn?
So I'm Lynn Williams. I am from Fresno, California. Grew up in Fresno, California, went to college in California at Pepperdine University, and then was drafted to Western New York in 2015. I thought I would never live on the East Coast, and yet here I am 7 years later. A little bit about myself. I am a aunt of 4. I have 3 nephews and 1 niece. Love them to death. I have a boyfriend named Marley who lives in Australia, so we do distance a lot of the time. It's one of my favorite places in the world is Australia. What else? I hate fish, but I love shrimp. Huge shrimp head.
What is a shrimp head?
Oh, just a shrimp head. Only the exclusive people know what it is.
Oh.
Yeah.
Anyways, I guess I'm not in that club.
Yeah, I don't know why you're trying to butt in on my intro.
Sorry. Proceed, shrimp head.
But yeah, I play for North Carolina Courage and currently with the U.S. Women's National Team with Sam. And this is our podcast.
Where did that come from?
Don't know. I told you I ramble and it just comes out somewhere.
That was wild. Was that better or should we do it again? Basically, Lynn and I are really good friends, but we are opposites in so many ways that it's like kind of a miracle that we get along so well. And I think that you guys are going to see through the course of this podcast that sometimes when we're communicating, we're like saying the same thing, but we just don't understand each other at all. And then
we start arguing.
But then we're like saying the same thing.
Yeah, I think over the years we figured out that like we'll just be like, I think we're saying the same thing, and we're like, I think we are, but I don't know why you said it that way.
And I was right.
No, it's the same thing. So we're both right. So I was going to tell them how we first met.
So was I.
Oh my God. So we, when was it? Junior year of college?
Yeah.
Junior year of college, we played for the Pally Blues for a hot second. But during that time, we also both got invited to the U23's national team camp. And I probably knew Sam for a day. And we were both obviously going down to San Diego for camp. And it was me, you, Sarah Killian, Abby Dahlkemper, Taylor. Who else was there?
Well, that must have been it because you only had 5 seats in your car.
Well, the funny thing about that is Taylor actually flew. And then when I got there, I was like, why didn't you just drive with us? And she had no idea that everybody drove. Everybody drove.
Oh, I never knew that.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. But I didn't know any of you. But you guys, we all knew that we were going to camp. And so boldly, you asked me if I could drive you guys. And boldly, I was like, yeah, I could do that.
Yeah.
And then I just,
carpool.
Yeah. And then I just sat in the car and listened to you 3 talk.
Yeah.
As I drove you.
I know. I remember at that camp too that we went and like did a lift, and because we were like the UCLA group, we like did the UCLA lift, and we were like running in these lines, and everybody was like, "What? Like, who are these people, and why do they have like a system?" And they're just like this clique, and we like we were like Bruins, baby.
Yeah, and everybody was like, "Ew."
Yeah.
So
look at us now.
Yeah, little did I know that would turn into this, but I was like, what a weird time. These people that I've met for a whole day, I'm now driving them for hours as they talk nonsense in the car, and I was just an Uber.
Well, this is a glorious transition the podcast gods must have given us, but speaking of you driving me, one time at the Courage, I was driving Lynn to Lyft, and Lyft started at 10, and it took like 23 minutes to get there. So I'm like obviously waiting at the door like at 9, 9:10, 9:15, like waiting for her, like wanting to be a few minutes early. We leave the house like I think right at 9:32, 9:33. So I'm like gonna step on it to get there. Like I was stressed. I hate being late. I don't know what the deal was. Like I don't know why Lynn was running late, but like we just got in the car like kind of silently, and I like kind of didn't speak to her because I was like, "You're gonna make us late. I'm stressed. I hate this." Basically ran like
you ran a red light.
Yeah, it was a late yellow.
It was orange.
But thank God I did, because we walked in as Paul was going, "Okay, everybody bring it in." And we just like seamlessly in one stride like walked into the huddle. And I was like, if we had been 30 seconds later, we would have been like obviously late.
Yeah, but like in my mind, I'm like, "Oh, I'm running late. I'm just going to step on it." In your mind, you're like, "I need to abide by all the traffic laws."
Well, I did run a yellow.
Minus the one questionable red. But I was like, just pick up the pace. I
do drive slow.
But yeah, I'm sorry. And that was
it's okay. But like, it was 4 years ago, so I'm over it. But
to this day, I was like, okay, I'm sorry for causing you stress. I won't do that again. I don't think I ever did that again. And that's where you rub off on me in a good way, where I'm like, okay, Lynn, you need to be better about your time and get dressed earlier.
Yeah. And I think that you rub off on me in a good way too, because I would be like 45 minutes early for literally everything, wasting time in the car.
Wasting time, like absolutely wasting. I'm like, you spend so much of your day just waiting.
I know, because I have said this to people before, like, I like to build in 30 minutes for everything, like in case I get a flat tire.
In your defense, you have had many flat tires. So yeah, sure. But
I'm just like, I'd rather be early and sitting in the parking lot than be late and be so stressed and frantic.
Yeah, and I would be somebody who's like, well, I got a flat tire. I don't know what you want me to do.
Yeah. But I do think we complement each other.
I would agree. Yeah, I think that you have helped me stress a little bit more, like in a good way. Like I think sometimes I go around life like a little too calm, and I think I've helped you calm down.
Yeah, I would agree. But it definitely makes me think twice about myself hearing you say that I have made you stress. I have anxiety to share.
No, I just mean like organized. Like even now, like I'm like, I think we just should make a calendar so we should be more organized. And 4 years ago, I would have never done that. I'd been like, what time are we doing it when? And then I would have missed a whole bunch of things.
Yeah, calendars are great. Lists are great.
You make a list of making a list.
I know.
Yeah. So I think that I've said this before though, like if I lived with somebody who was like me, nothing would ever get done. But I think if you lived with somebody who's like you, then like you guys, nothing would get done because you would panic.
Yeah, that is a great point. Another big highlight of our friendship. Do you want to tell about the goal against Portland in 2016 that we like still thrive on?
Yeah, that game, that whole year, that game was like literally the highlight of my life, my soccer career.
I know. Me too.
Okay, so I'll say it from my point of view, but then you could say it from your point of view. So it's an intense game. Like first of all, we're playing for Western New York at the time, and we have no business being in the playoffs. Absolute no business. we were a hodgepodge group of people who somehow, like, our tactic was like just kick it and run. Like, I don't think we strung more than 10 passes together all season long. Do you think?
No.
Yeah. So it was just a kick and run and long throw-ins. Like, that was our bread and butter. And so we're playing Portland in Portland, and the atmosphere
in the semifinals, the atmosphere is like crazy. I think Paul came up to me before that game and was like, "Don't be nervous. This is the biggest game you'll ever play." I was like, "Okay, well." Remember I was like crying in the pregame meeting because I just like wanted to win so bad that I was sitting there like this with like tears, and everybody was like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Yeah, definitely nervous.
Yeah.
And so we go out and we end up playing the game at regulation. It's 2-2, right?
I literally couldn't tell you. I have one memory, and it's what you're about to say.
Yeah. So I think it's 2-2. So then they have a throw-in down in our half. Sam steals the ball and starts dribbling it up the field like she normally does. And when Sam gets going, like, there's no stopping her. She's running with the ball, plays the most perfect pass that we have been practicing all year. We after trainings would practice this exact play every day, and all year long we wouldn't get it right. And this one time, Sam plays a perfect ball to my run, and one time I finish it one time, and we run up to each other and basically scream into each other's faces.
Yeah.
And it's probably one of my favorite pictures of us and one of our favorite moments. Yeah.
We'll have to, like, I don't know, flash it somewhere on here. I know this is audio, but maybe if you check the internet, you'll see it.
The interweb.
Yeah, the visual aspect of this. But yeah, I would just add that notoriously we seem to be on different pages at times, where you'll check and I'll play it in behind, or you'll run in behind and I'll play it to your feet that are no longer there. And this one miracle time, it just worked out.
Yeah.
And we won, and then we went on and we won the final, and there was like another miracle. So it was just one of those magical seasons.
It was such a magical season, and that like set us up to actually living together. Because before then, like, we lived across the hall from each other, but we didn't actually talk to each other.
No, not much. No.
No, we did some drinking together, and that was probably about it. And we've moved on from those days. Like, we're better professionals.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that was like such I think a key moment in our friendship, and like in our soccer playing together. It was like everything that we had been working on all season long had just like clicked in that one moment. And that was one of the goals that led us to the final, and then living together. So it was near and dear to my heart.
It is near and dear to my heart too. And I will just say about Lynn, I feel like when everybody thinks about her first, they're just like, wow, Lynn, so fast, so dangerous on the field. Lynn is such a hard worker. She's like such a great finisher and scores some goals that are just like unbelievable, and it has nothing to do with like her physical abilities. I really think she's a smart player. And off the field, she's a wonderful friend. She's a great roommate. She has put up with me and my little family of Pat and Finn during quarantine, which we will probably get to later, even though it is a dark time in the relationship. But Lynn is just one of the best on the field, off the field. She's one of my best friends, and we're really excited to be doing this together and sharing some of these inside scoop stories of our lives.
Samantha, that was really sweet. And they're gonna
it was a surprise compliment.
Like, you're gonna make me tear up. You know I'm emotional.
No.
Yes.
No, you're not.
Oh my God, that was actually really sweet though. Thank you so much. Sam is obviously one of my best friends as well. And honestly, I think that a lot of my success on the field, like, I know you probably don't believe this, but has come from Sam and like her belief in me, and like my ability to talk things out with her, and just like lean on her for support. Obviously, we said we do distance, really, like we've done distance in our relationships. And so I've leaned on Sam a lot during the past 4 or 5 years. So she's like one of the best friends, one of my best friends, one of the best humans. And then obviously you guys know she's an amazing soccer player.
Well, like I am the emotional one, and like I might actually cry. So maybe now that all this personal stuff is out of the way, maybe we should move on into the soccer stuff.
Okay, fine. Okay, so you just had a game. You scored a goal. Your team crushed it. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so I'm back in Manchester after camp, and we had an FA Cup game. It was the 4th round. We played Aston Villa, and we did win, and I did get a goal, which was exciting because it was one of those where I got like a similar pass a couple plays before and I missed, and like it was basically the same play, but I like hit it into the near side netting. Yeah. And then I like kind of just got this second opportunity at the same kind of play. And I felt like I like corrected myself and hit it more onto the goal and it went in. So that was great.
That's amazing. That doesn't happen often. So I'm very happy that happened to you.
I know it is very rare that you get a kind of a second chance at missing. So I was happy about that. But we do have a really big game coming up on Wednesday against Chelsea. We have 3 league games left. So every point matters at this point. So I'm really excited about this opportunity that we have coming up this week.
So what number goal is that for you? Because every time I tune in to you and watch your games, I'm like, there she goes again. There she goes again.
I'm not sure what number.
How many have you scored with your head, do you think, this year?
Probably like half, which is kind of like a shock.
You're telling me.
I know. Wouldn't you say? Paul Riley, the coach of the North Carolina Courage, kind of used to make fun of me and call me 50 pence head because my head seemed the ball would just ricochet off in all directions. So I don't know, Lynn. I've been working on it, and maybe I've got a nice flat forehead now. That's the goal, isn't it?
I honestly think it's just a confidence thing. Like, you've been able to do that. It just was a confidence.
Yeah, well, hopefully it continues. I don't want to jinx it. Where are you at with the Courage and the Challenge Cup? Knock on wood.
So Challenge Cup, NWSL's going. Games have been crazy. We play Gotham. NJNY Gotham FC on Tuesday. So okay, great. I'm excited for that. I'm excited to get like into like a game rhythm again. I just feel like it's been so long that I'm like excited. I'm excited to play.
Yeah. When was your last Courage game?
Oh dear. Okay, so they just played when we were at camp. Honestly, couldn't tell you the day. I feel like everything's a blur. But my last one was in October. Okay.
So it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a long while. So I'm like very excited to get going again and just like like a game rhythm. Like, yeah, it's nice to have. Preseason was long. It was 10 weeks.
Yeah.
And Paul is a psychopath.
Did you guys run a lot?
Yes. We didn't do as much like we definitely did paint the field and the suicide mile, but it wasn't as much like just straight on running. But we had like the toughest week, and then we play UNC, and then we would still have 2 days after that, and then we would have 1 day off, and then we would come back and train for 2 days, and then play a boys team, and then still have 2. And I was like, when do we get a break?
Yeah. Will you just for the average listener just explain what Paint the Field is?
Oh, yes. So Paint the Field is 22 sprints, I believe it is. And so if you take a soccer field and you run the width of it, so you start at one end, jog down, sprint back, and then you move up a cone, and then you jog down, sprint back, move up a cone, all the way until you finish at the other side and the length of the field. And I think it's 22 sprints, and it's just, you get halfway and you're like, I'm going to die. I don't think I'm going to make this. And it's the worst thing ever.
I know. I remember the last time I did that, I probably got to like 15, and then my like jog and sprint just became one pace where I was like, I will just finish this, and it will not be fast. I will not come in first. I will not come in second. I will just run the whole time until it's over.
Yeah.
It was pretty slow.
Yeah. That's pretty much what it is. And The last time I ran it, I was in a group with Kiwi and Ryan, and it just wasn't. It wasn't good. They are so fast and they can like run forever. And I was like, I don't think anybody's body's meant for this. Like not a single
except theirs apparently.
Except theirs apparently, which is like Kiwi though could like take 7 years off and then get on that and do the paint the field, and you're like, okay, that.
Yeah, she is a anomaly.
She is a woman amongst girls. Let me tell you.
You can say that again.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think? Like we're in our what season? 6th?
7th? Starting our 7th season.
No.
Yes. This is my 5th year in Raleigh, and 2 years before that we were in Western New York. Yeah, we
Oh my God, we are so old. Okay, so what has changed for you getting older? Like what surprises you? What's different?
Besides,
do you have a better grasp on what's happening?
Besides, like my body falling apart. Off the field stuff, I feel like I have like a better just like routine. Like I know when I'm like, okay, this is what I need to do for this day to recover, or like I can maybe not take this day off, but like I don't need to do as much recovering. I also feel like I'm not as stressed all the time, where I'm like, the first couple years I was like, soccer. I have to think about soccer all the time and I need to do this. And now I'm like, Lynn, you need to think about other things other than soccer or you're going to go crazy.
Yeah. What do you like think about? What do you like to fill your time up with outside of soccer?
What don't I think about? I look at houses all the time. Like
just for fun.
Unhealthy amount of time. I'll send Marley houses all the time and he's like, what do you want me to do with that? And I'm like, I want you to go look at it. And I have sent him to go look at houses, and then the realtors obviously get his number and then we'll call him for weeks. And he's like, why did you do this to me? And I'm like, I don't know. So doing that, I love interior designing things, or looking at or dreaming about interior designing things.
I know. Look at I know that we made those together, but those cute things behind you. And meanwhile, I have a blanket and a yellow pillow.
That's not you, Sam,
right.
You made this.
You're right. I did. If you guys can't see, it is just these cute little wall decorations that I did help at least make with little air plants on them.
With little air plants.
Hanging on the wall. They're very cute.
Yeah. And when Sam decided to leave me, I took everything. I took all of her stuff and all of her decorations.
You are sitting on my couch right now.
Yes.
This was supposed to be the soccer section.
Oh, sorry.
No. I just for our friends, this is our first show. This is our first time doing this, so hopefully you're bearing with us as we ramble on.
Yeah. Yeah. But on the field stuff, I think just like knowledge, I'll get us back on track. Here we go.
Okay, here we go.
On the field, the difference, I think like obviously just having a better grasp of soccer and like patterns. I think one of the biggest compliments Paul has ever given me was when I first got to Western New York, and he said, you are just an athlete playing soccer, and now you're a soccer player who's an athlete. And I was like, wow, that might seem like it wasn't a compliment, but it was, because I was like, yeah, I think I've gotten by so far just like on pure athleticism. And now he was the first person that after a scrimmage was like, what formation were they playing? And I was like, I have no idea. And I was so embarrassed. But he was so right in to be like, you need to know these things. Like, how do you know what run to make if it's a 3-back or a 4-back? So on the field, just like having a better knowledge and like a sense of self. What about you? Yeah. What about yourself?
Well, I was going to ask you, I don't know if this is a good segue, but I was going to ask you if you have felt like stereotyped by being such a good athlete ever.
Oh my God, all the time. All the time. I feel like I have been, because I'm fast, been put in a category of she's just fast, like my whole life. So I feel like I am always fighting and try to prove that I'm not just fast. Like I can see the field. I have good vision. I make good runs. And the fastness is just like a asterisk on top of that, or just like a gift that I was given. And then I feel like sometimes like when I'm down on myself or like people are being mean, I'm like, oh, they're right, I'm just fast. And then I like fall into that category and I tell myself that, and then I have to like fight back to get back out of that. But so yeah, it kind of like sucks.
Yeah, that must be something that's like, you obviously always want to be more than that, but it is a gift that you have always to fall back on.
Yeah.
But you are so much more than that as a player. And I mean, obviously I know that because I play with you so often. But I can imagine that experiencing that your whole life would make it easy to like fall into that way of thinking sometimes, maybe, and make you like doubt yourself.
Yeah, definitely. I think the first person who ever like was like, oh, you're more than just a fast player was my high school coach. And I was 15 by that time, which I think is like far too old to be told that you're not just fast. So then I think from there, I've had to try to like go back. I feel like I tell you this all the time. I'm like, I have to reteach myself like foot skills. Like I'm always working on that, because I don't think I like that was like the foundation of my like soccer growing up. And so I'm like, I feel like I'm always catching up when it comes to like foot skills and finishing, because for the longest time, coaches were just like, just kick it. Like she'll get there. And then like never worked on the soccer part.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. I think it's like there's a balance, obviously, because I think for some players, like myself included, there was always a technical foundation. But then ever since then, now I'm like, oh, I need to be faster. I need to be fitter. Yeah. And so I'm kind of working on this like physical piece. And obviously I'm also working on the technical piece all the time. It's not like I'm there or anything.
Well, exactly. Yeah.
There is obviously just a balance of what you learned to do growing up and what was like highlighted for you and now what you want to be as a professional.
Well, exactly. Like, don't get me wrong. Like everybody's always working on technical, like you always have to work on finishing, whatnot. But I just feel like my speed was like the only thing people talked about all the time. Yeah. And it's just so funny because like, so last year we obviously had like Crystal, Addie, Allie Watt, Jaylene, a huge actually group of Black people on our team that I've never been a part of that. But everybody's story is kind of the same, where it's like always talking about, okay, she's fast, she's strong, she's tough. And it's like, well, why don't you say like she's skillful? Her field vision is great. Like those words are never used. And it's like disheartening sometimes, because I think if you told something over and over and over again, as much as you try to get out of that, like it's still ingrained in you a little bit. And so I feel like my whole career, I've been like trying to fight this like external, but also internal monologue and battle where I know I'm good enough. I know I have foot skills, but the outside world is like, no, she's only fast. So then I'm trying to like overcompensate sometimes to be like, I am this. And then sometimes it breaks down, but sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah. How like empowering was that, having such a significant group of other Black women on the team with you who, when you guys shared your stories together and you heard that some of them experienced the same thing, did that make you feel like, how did that make you feel?
Yeah, I honestly, it was exciting. I think that for the first time, you, without having to speak it, there's people that just get it. I think that, so to go back and explain this to everybody else, this past year with George Floyd and everything that happened, our team came together and we decided to have a conversation in the park. And the Black players kind of had the mic and told about our experiences, and the non-Black players just listened. And I think a lot of people their eyes were opened. But it was just so funny because like we as Black people didn't have to talk about what we were going to talk about, because we all knew it was going to be the same thing. Obviously different scenarios, but similarly the same thing. And so when everybody started speaking, I was like, yep, done that. Yep, done that. Yep, heard that. So it was like very nice to know that I had people who had felt the same things that I had felt, And it was also just exciting to be like, oh my God, I'm on a team that has so much support, because that wasn't the case for every other team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How did you feel like during that time?
Definitely. Well, I felt obviously, I don't even know how to start. I felt this like recognition of my own privilege, obviously right off the bat. And I think that I was, for most of my life, aware, but not really like awake to how prevalent and significant and how much I had benefited from being white. And just like the kind of access and ease that enabled me to walk through my life with. So I think that when it all started, I started just talking to you. And so having you, it wasn't your job to do this, but you were so patient and understanding with me. And I think our basis of friendship is what made you care about how I was able to learn and grow, and not that was the goal, but recognize my role and my kind of complicitness in the whole thing. Like our relationship really made me so much more able to like just recognize everything and want to help create change. I think that even like just right now, this is still so hard to talk about, but knowing that you're here, like, I think that you would help me if I made a mistake, and you would kind of teach me where I was wrong in my thinking. And I think even since then, we've been able to try and spark some change within the league or within our team or our group of friends together. So I just feel like I felt so lucky to have you there. And I know it was so hard for you in your own like life and in your own way. But some of the things that you and I talked about have really set this foundation for me now, and the way that I know I can try to help and support my Black teammates and try and be a more active member in the community, like fighting against racism. So looking back, I feel so grateful that I had you there. But obviously it was such like a horrible time for you that.
Well, yeah, I think it was like a horrible time for everyone. Honestly, I think that like so many people were trying to navigate what was going on. I think that like we did in our own home, like create a safe space to like ask questions, but also for me to like say exactly how I felt, and like you'd be okay with that. I felt like not that anything like was so like bluntly said, but like I didn't have to sugarcoat like my feelings on the matter, which I felt like was very foreign in a lot of situations. So yeah, I felt like it was so nice to have like a safe space to talk about such a hard topic, which it's still like wild to for me to think that like that's a hard topic. It's like, yeah, my dad's Black. Like, I don't know why like we can't just talk about it. But like, I also think that you helped me open my eyes to like even little questions where I don't want to like embarrass you or anything, because I don't think it is, but for you to be like, is Black okay? Or do I have to call you African American? And I was like, yeah, I'm a Black woman. Like, you can call me Black. Because I think that a lot of, obviously there's like the big questions, like the big, huge topics, but I didn't realize there was like little things.
Yeah. Well, and not to interrupt, but I just think that sometimes for white people who didn't like, I didn't grow up around a lot of Black people, and I never felt comfortable enough to ask that. Yeah. And so our like relationship and how much like I trust you and I know that you know your heart. I'm not trying to be I don't mean any harm, just to be able to say, can I say this? Can I say that? How should I approach this? What should I do in this situation? I'm so lucky that I do have you, and as a friend, as a person in my life, it's like so wonderful. But in that time, I think I wish more people had that, because it's so it cuts out this level of like discomfort when I'm comfortable with you, you know?
Yeah, no, I definitely wish more people had like the relationship we did, or had somebody to talk to and like have a safe space. I just think that like even when you're like asking an uncomfortable question or like you're not asking it perfectly, I feel like there's so many things that like we need to battle, like actual racists that like I don't think I should be fighting the person who's trying to change and trying to be better just because they may have said it a little different. And I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about like any other people that have come into my life. Because you honestly weren't, it was so funny. Like Sam would be like, I don't want to offend you, but, and I was like, that was the opposite of offensive. That was like such a kind way to say that. I actually want you to be more blunt.
Just spit it out. Yeah, what do you really mean?
Just say it already. But like some funny things that happened too is like when we were packing up to leave, Sam tried to give me some hair products. And I was like, yeah, no, that's not going to work for me. Like that is going to dry out my hair. That's just
I know. And I like thought too that I like should have thought of that. And when you said, Sam, I'm not going to use this, I was like, oh my God, like shit. But because we like have this relationship, like I think we were able to like laugh about it. But even now I'm like, I should have thought of that.
Oh, and that's the thing that like makes you so great though, is that like you think about it and you're like, dang it. And then you correct yourself to be better. But like for me, I was like, well, yeah, like
this isn't going to work on my hair.
It's just not going to work. Welcome back. So that definitely got heavy. We got a little out of hand there. This was our first time. We also recognized that Sam started interviewing me instead of double podcast hosts.
But we're back. We're back. Co-hosts.
We're co-hosts. So I'm going to interview you. We're just going to go on this interview theme. So we're going to go back to your original question of soccer. I don't know how we got so far away, but I liked it. So yeah, how do you think you have changed from when you first were coming into the league to now? Sam Mewis, number 1 ranked soccer player.
Okay. I think there's like a few things about me that have changed. Like I think I am more like, and this is like, it sounds crazy even coming out of my mouth, but just more like measured in my ups and downs. I'm definitely like the highs are high and the lows are low person. But I think like soccer wise, I remember some of my first camps with the national team, like I would have a good session and I'd be like calling my mom, like, I'm going to make the team. Like I belong here. I can do it. And I'd be like so pumped and like so high. And then the next day, naturally, I would have a terrible session and I would call my mom crying and say, they're going to send me home. I'm the worst player here. And I think that in that environment where it's like so competitive, it's so intense, the best thing that you can have and the thing that makes you stick around for a long time is just consistency. And of course you're going to have great days and you're going to have terrible days, but your approach, I think, and your attitude and your like mental state needs to kind of stay at this like level line where you just don't get so out of hand either way. And I think that I hope I have that more now. I think I've had plenty of terrible sessions and I'm still hanging around. So I think I understand that just trying to be consistent and trying to approach things with like more of a level head is really one of the most important things that you can have there. Yeah, no, it's definitely like, I don't know. I obviously haven't done any other jobs, but like the stress or like the mental game is what I think makes the greats, because I think that once you get like higher and higher, it's like that 1% or like a half a percentage that is like changing. And I think it's the mental side of exactly being able to not be so high and low and just like a consistent, I'm okay. I'm going to be okay. Do you think that like, I know everybody talks about your height, but like, do you think that like when you first came into the league versus who you are now, like, have you embraced it a little bit more? Do you think that when you like, let's talk about it. Yeah, that's a good question. Let's unpack it. Let's unpack the Tower of Power. Yeah. How did that come about as well? Yeah. So, I mean, I think like growing up, when you're like freakishly tall as I was and am, like, you're just kind of naturally like a little bit embarrassed all the time because you're just like, I stick out like a sore thumb everywhere I go and everybody's always asking me how tall I am. But I think that like I've always had this understanding that it was helping me on the field. I think especially like when I was tall and the other girls weren't, like I was powering my way down the field, like even when I was like 13, 14. So I have always appreciated that. And I think that the older I get, the more I realize that it's like an asset that I am lucky that I have. But so yeah, one time in North Carolina, the announcer was presenting us something and we were down on the field. I think we were getting rings for something. So he was giving a little spiel about everybody. And it was the first time I ever heard it. He just goes, our Tower of Power, number 5, Sam Mewis. And I started going, what? Tower of Power? Is that me? And I started like freaking out because I like loved it and thought it was so funny and like original. And I've never heard that before. Have you?
No, never heard it. And it was a great moment.
I know. I'm like, this guy's a genius. And I like want to trademark it. And I already got t-shirts made. But
so does he get any of your royalties or what?
I think it's just like one of those things that, yeah, like I'm kind of a huge lady and so far it's worked out. So I'm good with it.
Behemoth of a woman. Beautiful. A behemoth of a woman. A beautiful behemoth woman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that like, because since there has been some other large ladies who have entered the soccer realm. Do you think that like somebody seeing you was like, oh, I can do that too. I can be a big woman running around.
I kind of feel like maybe it works better the other way. Like if you're really small and someone sees you, they're like, oh, I can do that. Like I do kind of feel like being big, like athletically is like maybe not that big of a challenge.
Fair enough. Fair enough. But honestly, like...
But yeah.
But I feel like soccer, like... Maybe it's just our team. I think that like besides you, Jess, and Kiwi, our team is kind of small, or your former team. And so like maybe I have a skewed vision.
Well, no,
right
the
now.
other thing I think this is like me being hopeful that I'm having a positive impact, but maybe if a girl in high school or middle school is, like we said, very tall and is kind of embarrassed, maybe she'll be like, hey, Sam Mewis embraced it. I'm going to embrace it too.
I'm going to go score some headers.
Yeah, exactly.
Can we talk about that too? Like telling somebody you scored with your head, like a header goal.
And they always go a headbutt and you're like...
It sounds so lame. Of all the soccer terms, that's the lamest one.
A header.
I scored a header. I scored a head goal.
I just remember kids in school like literally calling it a headbutt, and I would just be like, I'm like so embarrassed that we're talking about this. When somebody's asking you like on a plane or something and they're just like, what do you do? And you're like, oh, I play soccer. And they're like, oh,
yeah.
For what school? And you're like, I'm
a professional.
In my late 20s.
One time, one of my really good friends, so there's like a group of us, she's going to hate me for saying this, but there's a group of us. One of them like just got married and is doing great. Another one bought a house and got engaged. Another one just finished law school.
Yeah.
And I texted and I was like, oh, all of my friends are doing so well. Are so cool. And she was like, don't worry, you're doing great too. And I was like, oh, dagger. Straight to the heart.
You were like, I like know, but
yeah, exactly. I was like, I know. Exactly. I was like, oh, yeah. Like I thought I was doing well, but now like,
well, like I was fine before you said that.
I thought she was gonna be like, yeah, we're all doing so well, or like, yeah, we're all. I don't know, not that anything but what she said.
I know that one hurts.
Yeah.
But we're good. We are living the dream. We are trying to make the Olympic roster.
Yes.
which can be stressful, but I think we're having Lynn and I lately have been trying to stay present, and we've been reminding ourselves that, do you want to tell them the secret?
Yep. Anytime something goes wrong, I say, Marley loves me. My family loves me. I'm fine. And then I move on with my day.
Yeah.
And I think it's just a bigger picture, you know? You have Pat. You have Finn.
Bless him.
Finn, man.
Finn is my dog. He is my whole life. I wasn't really like a serious dog person. And now, like, when I think about my happiest moments, they're like laying on the floor with Finn walking all over my face. Like, I love him so much.
I do miss him as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So during quarantine, this is the timeline. We got done with She Believes. Everybody said, don't go to your market, go home where you think you're going to get stuck. And me and Sam said, don't you think everybody's overreacting? And Becky said,
no, she said, I think everybody's underreacting. And we were just like, okay, well, we need to be with the courage. So we went to North Carolina.
Yeah, we went to North Carolina.
And little did we know.
Yeah. We were like, we're going to get there. And then we're going to have 2 days off so we can like move into our apartment. Everything's going to be great. Pat will come down and help us.
I actually just saw this picture today. We got the moving van. We got the U-Haul. We moved.
We got a couch. Thank goodness we got the couch. We got this large couch because for the longest time we had been using the apartment rental stuff. And we were like, we need a big lounge couch because we're huge loungers. We are.
That's going to be the topic of another show.
Yeah, we can.
Lounge festivals.
Festivals is a good word because it goes on for hours. Hours. So we were like, yeah, we're going to North Carolina. We're moving in. You guys can go home. We're going to be in our market training. It'll be great. Little did we know the next day.
Everything got canceled.
Everything got canceled. Everything shut down. It was me. I was going to say me, Lynn, and Pat. It was me. It was me, Sam, and Pat stuck
for months.
Together.
In a small
2-bedroom
apartment in Raleigh. In April, we got Finn, and the morale lifted a lot, but
it did. The chaos did not. Yeah. That could also be a whole nother show, but like basically, it's 3 grown adults trying to live in a small apartment.
And 2 of the adults didn't agree to it. Like I got my friend and my husband, and I got like I had my training buddy. I had Pat was cooking for me. I had like the best of both worlds. Like I had my dog, and then here's Lynn living with her friend's husband, which she never agreed to. And here's Pat living with his wife's friend, which he never agreed to. Like we said, it could be a whole nother show.
Yeah, but also like it was like nobody's fault. I love Pat. I think he's great. We don't live great together.
Roommates.
He would say the same thing.
Yeah.
Don't live great together. But like he was on like a work schedule.
Yeah.
And like had to get up and do work calls. And we were just like, we can get up at any time to do this workout.
And go to a random field and do our workout.
Exactly. And so it was just a mess. But then we got Finn. By we, I'm putting myself in that.
Auntie Lynn?
Yes. And morale did lift, but it was pure chaos for months. Thank God we got the couch because there would be no... Just imagine. Don't want to.
Would you rather have never gotten the couch or have never gotten Finn?
What?
Wait,
that's actually it's you're asking me.
You would have rather never gotten the couch because we love Finn too much.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was an obvious one. It was an obvious one, but those were our number 1, number 2 decisions during quarantine was Finn, the couch.
Yeah, 1,000%. And then we did take up boxing at one point for like a new situation until I don't know why did we stop?
I think something with the scheduling. Remember, remember I had a little bit of a something that I had committed to.
Huh. Odd.
Anywho.
Odd. You putting plans.
Sam making commitments that she regretted very quickly.
Sam will just walk around the apartment in a huff.
About all of these things that I put on myself.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, I could do that. Yeah, I could do that. Yeah, I could do that. And I'm like, why did you do that? Like, why did you agree to 7 things back to back to back?
I don't know. I think I just have like trouble saying no.
I think you kind of enjoy the stress.
That's like actually an interesting thing because I think I do too. Like something just happened to me today where Pat was like, wait, like why are you stressed? I thought we were like through this. And I was like, oh yeah, like I am supposed to not be stressed anymore, but I naturally just found new things.
Okay. Let's talk about some fun stuff. Because quarantine could go on literally for years. It was just, it
went on for years. So
yeah, like it was literally a time. Okay. So I thought it would be fun to just ask some questions. See how weird we are.
Yeah. Let's go. Let's do it.
Okay. So like, how often do you wash your sheets?
Not that often. Often.
No, but like, give me the.
I've gone like a while. Yeah, I've gone a while. I've gone like. I know my mom's gonna listen to this. She's gonna be so appalled. But I've probably gone like 4 or 5 months.
Yeah. Yeah, like if you, they say you're supposed to wash your sheets every week, and if you haven't gone 4 or 5 months without washing your sheets, like.
Well,
what are you doing?
To be honest, I kind of think they get like softer the longer you leave them. Is that gross? Is that just like dead skin?
Yeah, it's just like you're dead.
You're just like sleeping
dirty
in your
skin. Dirty skin.
Yeah, no, I don't really wash my sheets that much. How often do you wash your towels?
Also, not that often.
Do you know that scene in New Girl when you've seen New Girl, right?
Yeah.
When he goes, I don't wash the towel washes me.
Exactly. It's like, yeah, like if you're washing it every week, I don't want to be your friend. I don't want to be your friend.
I'll go through like a house cleaning phase, like once a month or every 2 months where I'll like want to vacuum and like I'll want to like really wipe down the counters and like clean the bathroom and stuff. Cause like it gets to a point where there's like crumbs on the floor and like toothpaste in the sink. So I'm like, okay, it's cleaning day. Yeah. And like, I'll usually like throw in a towel.
Yeah. Like, I don't think I'm like every Sunday is towel and bed washing. I'm just like, at some point I'm like, yeah, I need to wash that.
Yeah. At some point.
Whenever that point is. Marley, that's why I have Marley. Cause he does those things. Like he does? What an angel. I know. He like makes the bed. He does the dishes. He does the stuff. He cleans. We were joking because I was like, all the things that I enjoy doing consist of like, oh, I'll do the laundry, which is like me putting it into a machine and pressing on.
And like he does like the really hard stuff.
Well, yeah, he's then like, you now need to take it out and then fold that. And I'm like, no. Oh,
I know. One of Pat's pet peeves is I'll like very often do the laundry and fold it, but then I like won't put his away. Like I'll just like leave it on his side of the bed. And he's like, you were putting it all away anyway. Like, why couldn't you just put mine away? Like it's folded. Like, cause he'll do that for me when he does the laundry. He puts mine away, but he always like puts it in the wrong spot. And it's and he'll like fold my shirts inside out.
Yes. What is that?
I'm not going to like put your shorts back in your pants drawer. So like, can you just do it? Like I did you a favor. I did the laundry. Like,
no, that's like
is this an irrational thing that we flip out about? Or is this rational?
Because like, I think it might be a little irrational because like I said, I don't do it often, but then when he does it wrong, I'm like, you did it wrong. I know. What a lucky man he is to have me.
I know.
What is like something that's so normal that like you get embarrassed about?
Well, Rose showed me this, like, I don't know if it was a TikTok or like a meme or something recently that was like, oh my God, it's sunny out and I have to put on sunglasses. How humiliating. And like, I like really, it really resonated with me because like just this totally normal thing that you like, you're just going to put sunglasses on because it's sunny, but you're just kind of like,
yeah.
Is that okay?
How dare I not burn my corneas?
I know. Do you have one?
Well, I feel like this is everybody's, but like the windshield wiper speed. Like how dare I see? Like I'm like, I think it needs to be this fast because I can't see unless it's this fast. And then I look over and somebody's just going so slow. So I'm like, I guess I need to turn it down so I can't see. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
It's like, or like when you like, well, people don't pay with cash anymore, but like when you pay with cash and then you have to put everything back in your wallet because they give you change, but like you feel rushed and you're like, oh, sorry. Like I get embarrassed about that.
I know. And then you go even slower because you're like fumbling with the coins and you're just like, if I had just been calm, like this would be
exactly.
Easy.
And the cashier is like looking at you like, can you hurry up, lady? Because you're fumbling and you drop a coin on the floor and you're like, I'm sorry. And then everything's in your wallet all messed up.
Embarrassing. Well, this is kind of different, but you know, when the ball, this is a soccer one, when the ball is kicked straight up in the air and like,
I want no part of that.
And you have to try to head it.
I want no part of that.
And it's like, even if you do make any contact whatsoever, it's just going to like not go where you wanted it to.
It's going to, you're either getting a concussion, doinking off your head somewhere, or you're missing. Or you're missing.
Yeah. And it's just like, why? Like, why do I have to be standing here?
I really feel like the person who kicked it in the air should take a timeout for that because that was just like, why did you do that?
Just like do a lap.
Just think about what you've done. Go sit down.
Yeah. Just do a lap.
That's actually a really bad one. Who were we playing and remember when you did that and you missed?
Yeah, well, I don't remember the team, but I remember I was like jumping up against Christine Nairn because I've seen the video so many times. And I think that she kind of like, because I missed it. And I think she was kind of like, I'm going to just like let this one bounce. And then I missed it. And then I had to like jump up again for the second one, which was also straight up in the air because it was just this vertical bouncing ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is probably one of my least favorite things to do on the field.
Yeah. Like I can't, never mind. I don't want to give that weakness away.
Well, you have to.
I was going to say something else that I hated doing, but I can't.
Yeah. Sam's strong, tough, doesn't have any weakness.
Doesn't have any fears.
Except them all. Do you have any more questions?
I shook my head.
Got none more. None more. I got none more. Also, like, I feel like you will learn during this podcast that, like, I have a slight speech impediment, self-diagnosed.
Well, if they listen to the trailer.
Yeah, I get too excited, I think. I don't really know. I just can't speak.
Perfect podcast co-host.
Yeah.
We're doing great.
We are doing great.
Okay, well, with that, let's wrap this up. This was the first episode of the podcast Snacks with Lynn and Sam. Make sure you subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts so you don't miss an episode. We would love for you to leave us a review. Talk about a speech impediment. We would love for you to leave us a review and tell a friend. We would love some feedback. If you have questions you want us to answer, maybe hit us up on Twitter. Just subscribe to the Just Women Sports newsletter and follow on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. TikTok game.
Huge right TikToker. Yeah, this is obviously our first podcast. It's only going to get better. Hopefully not any worse. Hopefully not any worse. We are excited to talk about really cool things, stuff that interests us. Like we said, we'll have Marley and Pat on here so they can expose us probably. But thank you for listening. Like Sam said, subscribe, like. We want some feedback. We're excited for this.
This show is produced in partnership with Blue Duck Media and Just Women's Sports. I'm Sam.
I'm Lynn.
And we'll see you next time on Snacks.